Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Josie's Point of View, where we focus on human interest stories from the Carolinas and beyond. Today it's Wednesday and it's August the 31st, 2022. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, I'd like to extend to you a warm welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you find the information here to be informative. And if you're a return viewer, by all means, thank you for coming back. You know, I always say the tide changes so frequently here on these YouTube streets. So you always have to acknowledge where your support comes from. And I want you to know I sincerely thank you for your support. Feel free to like and to share this video. And don't forget to subscribe. And our story today takes us to Fort Bragg here in North Carolina. Take a look at the headline. And it reads, Fort Bragg substance abuse counselor gets jail time for sexually abusing a patient. I'll provide you with a summary here, and as always, I'll place links to a few of the full articles in the description box. And the information for today's video came from the District Attorney's Office, the District Attorney covering the Eastern District of North Carolina. As you can see, the release date for this information was August the 22nd, 2022. And this is what has been reported or was contained in that document. 48-year-old Harold Jameson, he's an Army veteran who received an honorable discharge some time ago because of health-related problems. And at the time of his arrest, he was working on Fort Bragg for the hospital as a substance abuse counselor. And we're also talking about a 20-year-old female patient enrolled in the substance use disorder clinical care program there on the base. Now, it does not specify whether that female was an active duty soldier or whether she was a family member, but that really does not matter. What does matter is that she had a substance abuse problem, she was in active treatment, and it appears that Mr. Jameson was her assigned counselor. And according to reports, during one session with a 20-year-old patient, Jameson assaulted the young woman when he undid her pants and put his hands inside her underwear, and then he robbed her private area. When the victim asked him to stop, he told her, quote, "Be quiet, you're fine." End of quote. The distraught and traumatized young woman left the clinic and was found on the side of the road crying and unable to drive. And of course, charges were filed with the appropriate agencies and Jameson was arrested. Now, this incident took place sometime last year, and earlier this year, I believe reports says it was in April, when Jameson pled guilty to, I'm sure, a negotiated sentence, but he did plead guilty to sexual assault charges. Specifically, he pled guilty to sexual contact without consent. And prior to his sentencing, he and his lawyer wrote a letter to the judge asking for leniency. Now, in this letter, he described his actions that day as having made a bad decision. But he made a request that he be granted supervised probation rather than jail time. The justification was that supervised probation would allow him to continue to provide for his family. So he had a family who was depending on him for support, but he wasn't thinking about them that day. And I imagine after this case came to light, he was fired from the substance abuse counsel job on Fort Bragg, and reports say he then began working as an alcohol distributor. Now that seems a bit ironic, but that was his job and he wanted to keep it. I'm sure the judge took everything into consideration, but last week Jameson was sentenced to 1 year and 1 day in federal prison. And after he is released, he will have 5 years of supervised probation, and he must also register as a sex offender. Good for him. And as you might expect, his attorney's not happy with the sentence after all. They wanted supervised release. Well, they can take that off their wish list because his client is now going to federal prison. And in a conversation with one media source, the attorney stated he was disappointed with the imposition of an active sentence, but the article I read did not state whether he was planning to appeal that sentence. And as you might expect, I have a few questions, and of course, I want to share my opinion. So I want to know, is this an isolated case? Or are there other cases out there that have simply not reported? I would say there probably are. Is Jameson a serial offender? And are there other serial offenders out there thinking they got away with their crimes? I think there probably are. The public needs to know. And I wonder what type of investigation of past discretion was done and exactly what and how the Army plans to share that information with the public. But we'll probably never know. And I'm sure there was an Inspector General investigation completed, I would love to be able to see and read their findings. And in this instance, when that young woman left that clinic room that day, I'm sure Jameson probably thought he had gotten away with his crimes this time. And I said this time he was wrong. And right after the guilty plea in this case, Fort Bragg then decided to open a new office and a new program aimed at reporting sexual harassment and sexual abuse. They opened the Sexual Harassment, Sexual Assault Fusion Directorate Office. A very fancy name, but it's really a pilot program described as being victim-centered, and it's based on recommendations that came out of the Fort Hood Independent Review Commission, and that was the commission that was mandated after the death of Vanessa Gilliam. And from what has been reported in the media, the focus here on Bragg is to provide additional ways for reporting sexual assault and harassment and to keep the process out of the victim's immediate command. It's about time. It's long overdue. The report says it also provides central coordination of various services the victim might need. And it seemed like such a great idea. It seems a little bit overdue, but it's a great idea. But we just need to give it some time to see if it actually works. But for now, one more predator is off the street, thanks to a brave young woman who found the courage to speak up about what she had experienced while trying to get care and support she needed from a substance abuse counselor. And that's all I have for you right now. Feel free to leave me a comment below and let me know what you think about this video. And by all means, feel free to like it and to share it. And if you haven't done so already, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel by clicking on that red subscribe button. It's on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And if you click on the bell that looks just like this one here, it's the notification bell. If you click on that notification bell, you'll be the first to know whenever a new video is uploaded. I thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.